Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another podcast. Today's podcast, I was kind of feeling lost in what kind of podcast I was gonna do for you guys because I really wanted to be different, from other videos that you can see on YouTube, and I just kind of wanted to keep it a little short for you guys because it's still, my earlier podcast, and I plan on having a guest pretty soon. I'm still working on building one of the rooms here in the house into like your podcast room. Right now, I just kind of like doing them in my room for the meantime. Well, I get that done. Hopefully, like in the next couple months, I'll have that room perfect, so you guys can really see like my podcast setup. But for today, I figured that we would talk about a couple topics that lately have kind of like been on my mind, and like I've either been thinking about these like on the way to work or like on my way home or when I'm just driving or I'm just chilling here at the house. So one of them was about like your 20s. The importance of your 20s, I feel like, is really just depends on the person that you are and what you want to do, you know, for like your career or whether it just be, your life plan. And that's when things kind of get kind of confusing, kind of difficult. And what I mean by that is if you're lost, you don't really know what you want to do. So, what has helped me, and I'm not there yet, like, I don't know specifically, like, oh, this is what I want to do. I kind of have, like, a idea of the path that I want to take in the future, but the things that really helped me was doing things that I like. And, you hear that everywhere. You hear that in, all over TikTok from people that are posting clips or even like in podcasts. They say, oh, just do what you like, do what you like. And I saw this one thing, and it was talking about many times whenever you're just thinking about that, you don't really think of what you actually like to do. You think of what other people may think is cool that you're doing. And so, like, for example, like me, I want to have my own company in the future. I want to have like my own clothing brand, and of course like expand this podcast if it's possible. And so, like, for me, I just enjoy talking to people. I feel like if many of you guys that you like watch this that know me like in person, like if I'm chill with you, like I'll talk to you. Like I don't really get shy. Even like out in public, I'm kind of just like my own person, and that's why I feel like this is the path that I'm taking. But everybody's different, so really think about something that you would. It's more behind the lines of what you can actually like focus yourself into doing. I feel like many times what people mean by what they say doing what you like is doing something that you're, yes, that even on those days that you work like extra hours, or for example if you worked all day, that you're still gonna feel excited to want to do that. That's what I feel like really makes the difference between something that you like doing and something that you just want to do it because other people are making money from it. So it's whatever you can discipline yourself, that will cause you to work on it every day. You're even like a couple days a week, like for me, for this podcast, I work. And so like on my off days or the days that I'm off like in the afternoon, I focus on trying to figure out like, okay, what videos am I going to make? What kind of topics are we going to talk about? So I feel like that's kind of like the route that you have to take when it comes to you feeling lost and wanting to decide on what you want to do, is just do something that you like doing and you're good at. That's like kind of like your hidden talent. Many people, I feel like, make a lot of money and have a good career whenever they're doing something that many people wouldn't have expected them to be good at. So that's one of the topics. And the other topic that I kind of wanted to talk about is like being kind of like alone in your 20s. And what I mean about that is there's nothing wrong with you just having a small circle of people that you're close with, or even you just being alone in this path of getting to where you want to be. I feel like it's really important for you to be comfortable with yourself. Like, for example, like in this video, I shaved. It's different from what I had in last video, and I've just kind of been trying different things since I've been out here in Florida. Trying different styles, trying different like outfits too. Like, it's important for you to really not care what other people are gonna say. Just be yourself. I feel like that's one of those things that's really hard to come upon, like, nowadays, is with this generation. Many people just want to be like other people. They just want to do certain things or be a certain way just because, like, oh, that's gonna make people like me, that's gonna make people appreciate me, if I have this or if I have that. Like, if that's not really what you like, then don't really get it. I feel like that's just kind of you trying to fill a void that you have, that you just think that's gonna fill it, but most of the times it really won't. Like, for example, like me, I like making podcasts, like I like playing my video games and everything, and I like being alone. Sometimes I enjoy just being in my own peace, and that's one thing that back then, like, the old me couldn't really do, and I'm just growing in it. So really work on yourself in the way that you just start feeling better, feeling more confident. Like, the moment I realized I was more confident with myself is whenever I started trying stuff that the old me would just straight up be like, no, we're not doing that. Because I was comfortable, and there's nothing wrong with you changing things up, trying new things, and so that's what I feel like really separates you from other people in this generation. And another thing that I kind of want to talk about is really think about, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought where I was going with this, but what I was trying to say was, like, really think about what people you have around you. Always be appreciative of the people around you, and, like, if anyone has helped you really whenever you were struggling during stuff, those are real people. I feel like that's one of those things that's, like, really hard to find nowadays, because in this generation, there's just a lot going on, bro. Like, a lot. I feel like a lot of things that back then we'd be like, oh no, that's not okay, or very okay nowadays. Like, whether it be, like, even in, like, relationships, there's a lot of relationships out here and just be, like, open, or these people aren't really, like, trusting, and, like, that's why they have that saying, I feel like, for the nice guys, is there really is, and even, like, females, make sure that before you, like, really go into a relationship, that you're healed with yourself, that you really are proud of who you are, and that you're not going to let that person completely dictate your life. So you know what, let's talk about this. Let's talk about relationships for a second. And yeah, I feel like it's really important that if you're in a relationship, make time for your friends. Don't just sorry, I had a burp. Don't just give all your time to your relationship, because even if that relationship is going really well, most of the times, like, in the beginning, you're just kind of like in the honeymoon stage, so everything is just perfect, there's no fights, like, everything just feels great, and you kind of, like, tend to push away from your friends. And I feel like most of the times it isn't even, like, your partner necessarily making you do that, it's just something that you do with yourself from, like, past relationships, or just, like, the way that you are, that you feel like if you're not giving them all your time and everything, that they're gonna leave, when in reality they're not. It's just something that you feel that way, and that also kind of leads back to you not healing from things. It's really important for you to heal from past relationship traumas, or just certain traumas that you went through in life, because many people don't realize that what happens is you go through a problem and you think that you're, like, okay and you're fine, and then you just take that problem with you and you bring it to the next relationship, and then something different happens in that relationship, and now it's two problems, and it just keeps going and going. So, like, really make sure you are okay to be in a relationship, and that you are confident with yourself. Don't let a relationship take your confidence away. I feel like that happens a lot, and it's really important Because if that relationship ain't meant to be and it doesn't work out, when you go through that breakup, it'll like really get to you. Because you're not going to feel confident, you're going to feel lost. So then that's when it leads back to going through a whole new, kind of like building yourself like completely different. Because you're not going to want to do those certain things, you know, because you'll feel like, oh, that's just like the old me, I don't want to be that way again. So like really make sure that really make sure that you're okay and healed from any traumas that you're dealing with. Okay, so I feel like for the relationships part, it's really important. And your friends, like, it's really hard to come by friends that like really care about you, you know, and really want to see you succeed. Like if your circle does not care about what you're doing, in the sense that they let you just kind of like throw your life away, or even if they're not like checking up on you, being like, hey bro, I know last week you told me you were gonna make a podcast and you're gonna start uploading, like, hey, what's going on, like why aren't you, you know, posting? Make sure you have people around you that really want to see you succeed. And that's really hard to see nowadays in this generation, because I feel like there's a lot of people that are gonna be mad, but let them stay mad, let them be upset, you know, because when you're doing better in life, they're gonna want to be your friend, or they're gonna want to be around you, because they're like, oh shoot, you know, in the beginning I didn't think he was gonna do it, but he really did it. And they're gonna try to come back. Don't let them. You know, you can be nice about it, but just don't let people that in the beginning didn't want to be by your side because they didn't see what you were building and were tearing it down for you. And then the second you actually make it happen, they want to come back. Don't do that. Make sure you surround yourself around people that have like want to see you happy, you know, and vice versa. Like if your friend is doing good, bro, be there for him, support him. Like I feel like that's one of those things that it has to go both ways. You know, you guys got to really help each other out. It's so important, because most of the times, even that friend, without you knowing it, they're probably going through that feeling of kind of like them thinking and second guessing, like, oh shoot, this is not gonna work out. What if I fail? What if I don't do good? And it's like, make sure you tell them to stay locked in, you know, to keep going. Because in this life, I feel like it's full of a lot of cruel, I don't want to say cruel people. I feel like cruel events that just happen. I feel like every other day on the news, it's just bad news, bad stuff, bad stuff. And, you know, if you just kind of like focus on that, it'll really get to you. And it'll really like mess up your mental of the way that you feel, and just really like consume you. So make sure you do everything that you can to stay on top for yourself. Like that you're checking up on yourself, making sure that even when you're feeling like upset or kind of like sad, like have a moment with yourself. Really be like, hey, like what's going on? Like many people, I remember like back then, people would be like, oh, like if you talk yourself, it's weird, or if you're like okay with being alone, like there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like sometimes you just kind of gotta have that moment where you just kind of like talk to yourself and really like focus on figuring out like what you're dealing with, what all is going on, because that way, if you have close friends by you, you can talk to them and really like tell them, hey man, this is what I'm feeling, like what do you think, like do you think I'm doing something that is causing me to feel that way, you know, like just be open about it. And there's nothing wrong with you focusing on yourself. A lot of people are going to tell you you're being selfish. A lot of people are going to tell you like, oh, you're doing too much, like why are you're all you do is just care about yourself. And if people are being like that with you, it means they don't really care about you, because they see the way that you're leveling up in life, and they're just mad that they can't get themselves to be at that point, you know. So yeah, I feel like those were the topics that I kind of want to talk to you guys about today, you know, keep it a little short and simple. And yeah, I just hope that you guys use this information, you know, and that it helped you in one way or another. And make sure you hit the subscribe button and post notifications so you know when I'm posting. And just to let you guys know though, I will always be posting on Tuesday, whether it be like, what time is it? It's what, 5:45? Yeah, so like around this time, probably like 6 by the time I get this done. Editing 6:30, like 7. So yeah, thank you guys for all your support. And I always look at the comments like every time. So if you guys want to leave a comment, I will always like say what's up, you know, check in. And yeah, like if there's any questions you guys have for me, like hit me up on social media, you know. I'll make sure I have all that in the description for you guys to see it, so you guys can see like the behind the scenes and what all I got going on. So yeah, see you guys, be safe, and peace out.